Hello friends, we're going to look at the state of Maryland again. This time we're going to look at some facts. The other video I just talked about my personal opinions, but this time we're going to look at the actual historical significance of Maryland with some background footage. So first of all, we could start with the Maryland Gazette, which in September 1727 the Maryland Gazette was founded and has been published ever since, making it the oldest newspaper in the United States. So when last have you read a newspaper? I know everybody's about the internet now, but I still love looking at newspapers. So you know the USPS, which in Baltimore, Maryland, in the USPS, the office system, in 1774, William Goddard established the first post office in Baltimore. When last have you sent mail, snail mail, or package by the USPS system? So the first water company was established in 1792 right there in Baltimore. It was called the Baltimore Water Company. What are utility rates like for you these days? I know when I was in Maryland it was pretty high. Of course we're familiar with the flag of the United States, but in the top left corner you can see how it used to look during the time of the Civil War. And during the War of 1812, Mary Pickles Gill designed a flag known as the Star-Spangled Banner. And of course, Francis Scott, he created a poem which is now the anthem for the Star-Spangled Banner. It was named in defense of Fort McHenry and expresses that the flag was still there or after the battle. The first telegraph line in 1844, the only one to exist in the world, was between Washington and Baltimore. I can still remember the days when you would send a telegram to somebody. That was like a big deal, and somebody actually had to deliver it. So the USS Constellation was the last ship that served in the Civil War, and these ships, based on the Royal Navy standard, were considered sloop of war ships because they had a single gun deck and it carried up to 18 guns. I believe this particular ship was a patrol ship. Along with that, Annapolis is basically the center of boating in the US, and of course the US Naval Academy was founded there in 1845, and in 1933 they began to have their own Bachelor of Science degree, Naval Studies, I guess. Anybody out there with that degree? Feel free to comment. Now, with regards to living in Maryland, real estate in Maryland is considered quite expensive. Like anything else, in anywhere in the world, you have both your good and bad areas. But living there can be quite expensive, even though 65% of the people do own their own homes. With regards to jobs, the government of Maryland aren't afraid to publish yearly statistics about the unemployment situation. So it's, around 4%. As far as I understand, getting a job is pretty or relatively easy in Maryland. Just depends if you want that job. A lot of people have concerns about safety in Maryland. There's a lot of crime, especially home break-ins and stuff, but really, sometimes crime comes down to the way you operate. I'm not saying it's always the case. Sometimes you're trying your best and you still become a victim, but sometimes it's just about your lifestyle, where you are, what you do. You can be safe in Maryland if you take all the precautions necessary. So what do you think about Maryland? If you haven't seen my other video, make sure to look for it, and please do subscribe, like and share. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it.